Hey, it's guitarist Eric Skye coming at you with another rant as part of my 30-day guitar challenge. Today's message is about taking guitar lessons or music lessons or whatever. Um, Obviously, I have a vested interest in people taking guitar lessons, but it kind of goes beyond that. I just want to talk about the importance of getting a good teacher. I sort of maybe largely self-taught, but I've had some teachers at various points in my life, kind of early on, in the middle, now. It's just your food, you know. I mean, it's what you need to kind of keep going forward, I think. And you know, as much as I love like teaching on Skype, and you know, I'm teaching here on, I guess, YouTube or wherever this ends up. I just want to talk about, you know, how in this day and age it's so easy to just kind of surround yourself with books and DVDs and YouTube pages and take Skype lessons and stuff, and all of that stuff is really important. But I really feel like, again, not to sound woo-woo, but there's something maybe chemical that happens when you're actually in the room with somebody that you kind of look up to or admire as a musician. There's just something, you know, like I can't really put my finger on it, but for me personally, it's always made a huge difference. So I just want to put that out there as a challenge. I know for some people it's not so easy. Maybe, you know, you live on an island somewhere where there's no other musicians, or, you know, but if you have that opportunity, you really should, and maybe think outside the box. I mean, I've certainly made a chunk of my living for the last 30 years by people coming to my home, or more lately, you know, coming to my computer, or me going to a college or a guitar store or whatever. But you know, there are other possibilities. One thing you could do that I've done in the past, you know, is just think about, rather than like on a regular thing, which is I think something I think you should think about. But in addition to that, maybe, or especially if you're more advanced, maybe, and you don't really maybe think you need a regular lesson, is just to do like one-off lessons. I've had a lot of people do it with me. You know, I get a lot of emails. I'm coming through Portland on business. You know, can we do a couple hours together? I'm like, for sure. But by the same token, there's been times when I've traveled, like if I'm traveling and if I got a gig in Nashville and there's some like hot picker I like, I'm going to call him up or send him an email, you know, can I come by? Do you offer, you know, hour lessons or something? I've had people come to my hotel when I've go you know, to a new place. I don't think I've ever done that, but I mean, there's all these options that you haven't maybe thought of before. Just if somebody's coming through town, chances are even your favorite musicians, maybe, you know, maybe not the Rolling Stones, but if you're into sort of nerdy guitar stuff like me, chances are the musicians that you kind of look up to the most, they could use the extra dough. Take it from me. You know, so if you're out touring or something, it's great if someone wants to do a lesson. So definitely try to get some one-off lessons. Because I think there's just something about being in a room with someone that you admire, and they might show you, oh, you know, here's this chord, and maybe you already knew the chord, but maybe just hearing them say it, there's just something that happens that you're like, you gain a new insight or a new sort of significance about that chord, you know. So, you know, I've been playing guitar for a long time, I think 42 years or something like that, and professionally most of my life, you know. But I'm a student. God knows I'm just a student. So I'm always on the lookout for a teacher, and I have people around that I do occasional lesson with. Sometimes it's informal. If I'm doing a gig with like my duo partner, Mark Goldenberg, you know, sometimes in the morning, I'll trap him when he's trying to get his coffee. Tell me a little bit about the third mode of the harmonic minor scale, you know, and it's great. I mean, or my other duo partner, Tim Connell, you know, I'll ask him, what are you thinking about when you play this tune? You know, I mean, I'm just always curious and grateful for that information. And also maybe think even more outside the box, like if you are a guitar player, presumably, try taking a lesson with a bass player. You know, if you're maybe call up a really great bass player in town and say, you know, let's play together and tell me how you think I'm fitting in the pocket, or do you have any cool suggestions for how I might fit in the pocket differently or whatever. Take a lesson with a drummer. I mean, it might be a challenge for them and a challenge for you, but you will get something out of it. I've certainly taken lessons with piano players. I remember hooking up with somebody and saying, how does McCoy Tyner voice this and that? And, I mean, it's just great. I just write down what their fingers are doing. Anyway, I guess I'm belaboring the point, but just don't stop taking lessons and just find creative ways to do it. And whenever possible, try to have an actual, meeting with somebody in the flesh and blood. And I promise it'll inspire you and you'll learn something. All right. Over and out.